Are live. I'm going to record this and I'll start recording. And hi, everyone. Carmen Disco here, UIA TV. We are live on YouTube and UIA. We're also recording this for later viewing. The good part is this is the fourth and I think the last installment of the Youth Innovation Series. And we got some great guests. We've had some great guests and some awesome questions from the students participating either live here or online on YouTube. I'll also start sharing it across some of the social media sites so that we can even get some information from them. I have Jake Medelson on with me. Hey, Jake, what's happening, my friend?
Oh, this is so exciting because we get to give a platform to some of these incredible students and give them a chance to ask questions of people who actually in the real world. And I think that's very exciting for us. So
good. It really is. It really is. You know, it's crazy. You know, you and I sit here and we listen to the guests that come on, and not that we think we know everything, but I love it because I learn stuff each day too. And the students that have been on, they've been having some great questions, which really helps. And so we'll bring our guest on, who hails from New York. I know this guest very well. She's an expert, and I'll let her kind of introduce and talk a little about what she does. Nisha Sawhney, is that how you pronounce your last name? Sawhney?
Yes, Carmine, you should know.
I know. I have to act like I don't know you just in case.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're all good. So, yeah.
So Nisha, jump in and just tell us a little bit about what you've done, what you have done. I know you've really designed. You know, you're going to talk about a little what you do, but some of the products that you have been kind of famous. So I'll let you jump in and kind of go over them.
Sure. Yeah. So I have been kind of like an innovator from my childhood. So it's perfect. Like I can talk to students today and inspire them. And I started when I was a little kid, actually. And then during my school, I was doing a lot of other work on the side, like on architecture school. I was making money on the side. I was always doing something on the side. Even with my first job, I had something else going on the side. So it was very fascinating. And then I started my company, SNS Design, in 2003. So it's been a long time. I've seen quite a lot in terms of market changing and environment, client changing. It's very interesting to see so many amazing things happening throughout these years. So at SNS Design, we basically take an idea from concept or even verbal concept all the way to manufacturing and all the steps that's needed to bring a product to market, like branding, packaging, patenting, of course, speed to market, manufacturing, how to cut cost for our client, and then also to make sure it is a viable product for my client's customer, which is very important. Because if it's not selling, it's not successful, then it's not a successful project for us, right? So we want to make sure whatever we do, it actually brings success to our client. And throughout these years, we have worked with global clients from Japan to Switzerland to Israel to Argentina. They all came from word of mouth. They found us in New York City. And it was really nice that even our vendors recommend us to their clients, so which is great. And we worked on a wide variety of products, from a baby crib to electric car charging station to Zips wine glass. We got the biggest deal in the history of Shark Tank. So it's a huge variety of products that we have designed, and the process is very important for me and for my clients. I kind of teach them also during this whole process. They learn quite a lot in terms of, like, if they need to bring another product to market, they know what are the risks, what are the benefits, and what are the other things they have to keep in mind. So it's a wide variety of product. We have done medical products too for our clients. I have owned another company that I'm designing a medical device and filing patents in different countries. So I kind of guide my clients what I have done for my products and how they can benefit, as well as with all this experience working with amazing clients, as well as vendors, as well as experts. It's just a great team that I pull together for any kind of project. I think, yeah, so knowledge about electronics, manufacturing, mechanical engineering, prototyping, everything falls into it. So ultimately, we want to make sure if someone comes to us, they get a very successful product based on research, and make sure they're protected. The prototypes are tested, the branding is perfect for their client or their customer. And this kind of like helps them at every stage to identify and kind of fine tune their design to make sure it is going in the right direction. So they are involved from start to end, and this is what we do at SNS. And I have another company that I started, Coach My Idea, which is specifically for young entrepreneurs or startups, even for companies or manufacturers who are going into a different product line. It kind of helps them from start to end. Yeah. So that's what I do at SNS.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
That's it.
Awesome.
Very easy to do.
It's great. I don't think that a lot of people, even product developers, there are a lot of people that are very segmented in the industry, and to have somebody like yourself that can cover the full spectrum, it really helps a lot of people because you keep within the same pace at each segment, each step. And I think that's really important because we get a lot, and I know you do, we get a lot of clients here that someone designed their CAD file, someone else did their prototype, someone else maybe is doing some little electronic components, but being able to, like yourself, to be able to do that, when you're doing those CAD files, you're designing for all those other steps. And I don't think people realize how more beneficial that is, and how quickly things can go. I want to ask you a little bit about a few products that you have. I just don't know if any of the kids or Nirbhai's mom have any questions for you at first before we get going on some of the questions that I might have or Jake might have. Anything, guys? Sid, you have a question?
I don't.
You said you're always asking questions. You always have something, man. All right. Okay. So Nisha, I know that you've had some products that have been very popular. What's your favorite product? Or I shouldn't say that because you don't want your clients to get mad. But what's the most popular or most famous product that you've worked?
Well, as you said, there are many. Every client's product is amazing to us, and we love working on every project. But the most successful was the Zip Swine, which went to Shark Tank and was really successful in every possible way. And we did everything for them, from product to packaging to branding to pitch deck to animations and point of purchase. So it's kind of, you need all these steps to actually bring a product to market. So it was really nice to work with my clients so closely, and they fully trusted us for everything what we did, even manufacturing files. So it was very nice, and we have a great relationship with every client I have. A very friendly relationship, because we all know that we're aiming for everyone's success, bring everything together. So Zip Swine was really great. And then I have done work for Hire, which is an appliance company. We design a lot of air conditioners and air purifier for them. Which is also very interesting because these large companies, they don't want to invest way too much into new product. So how to keep the cost down and still be able to introduce something unique that can differentiate in the marketplace is also very important. So which is what we like. So we created a Braille enhanced air conditioner for the client, which completely, it's a very different story. It doesn't cost that much in the design in terms of manufacturing and tooling, but it just gives a different way of or perspective. Like no one is thinking about vision impaired people. So why don't you make an appliance that can actually help them? This is actually a really good story because one of our neighbor, she was old and she lost her eyesight when she was, I think, 35 years old. And she was living by herself, and she was then at 75 years old. So she was old and doing everything by herself. And she used a lot of microwave to warm her food because she was alone. She was amazing, like how she was able to handle everything by herself. But then she would burn food because the frozen food or packed food comes with aluminum foil, and then she would put it in the microwave and turn it on, and then it catches fire. And she's like, she cannot see. So it was really dangerous for her that she couldn't even see what button she's pressing, right? So I mean, I was just amazed that these things should be built in every appliance, like something like microwave that has a tendency to cause some dangerous effects, to have just braille on the control panel. It doesn't cost that much, but it helps so many other people, right? So it was very helpful, and we were able to help her. But it was very scary to me that, like, oh my God, like poor old woman who's by herself, cannot see, can be into some dangerous place like this just by small spark or anything, and they won't even know. So any appliance, there was actually another incident that happened. Someone left the air conditioner running, and this is because it's hot, right? And they left it running, and there was some short circuit. The whole apartment was burned, like double-story apartment was burned. And the family who owned it, they left the apartment for a wedding, and they had someone else staying there, and then someone else actually burnt out their 2 floors, and they came back on Monday. It's like, oh my God, they have no apartment to stay. So there are like these things that kind of create some innovation design that we can implement for safety of this product and safety of people and the surrounding. There can be a lot of things that can be innovated based on what you see in day-to-day life, right? So yeah, these are like some of the products that we did. Electric car charging station, fully functional working prototype, that was in 2010, which was also very nice because it was a very new product launched in the market. At that time, it was not many electric cars available at that time. There was not even electric grid that much. But it was nice to see that we were ahead of the market and we did something much in advance. And then there was a baby crib. That was actually my first product, made in Italy. And we got a patent on the locking mechanism. And after we did that baby crib, it made in fabric, wood, and leather. It was a whole range of product, which would convert into a daybed and then becomes a love seat. So it has a long life, product life, which is worth, like, selling for quite expensive price at that time. But you can see that you can transition the product from a daybed to a love seat. So it's a long lifeline, which also I'm really happy. And then I realized, like, a lot of people started copying that. It was featured in many magazines and websites. And then I see, like, oh, we kind of created a trend, which is like really nice. And same thing like Zips wine. It's basically like aluminum cans in the beer industry. So it's very nice to see that we kind of set a trend for different products. So it's great, yeah.
Wow. All right. Any questions out there?
Actually, go ahead.
What is the process of getting in with your company?
Getting what? I'm sorry?
Like involved, like, in your company?
In my company, so I hire only experienced designers and engineers who have at least 5 to 6 years of real experience, because we work really fast, and I used to have younger designers before, but it took a lot of my time to teach them. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time, and or to make mistakes. We cannot afford that. So once they are trained and done it in real life, that's who we work with. So all my engineers have like 30 plus years of experience, or designers are 10 years or more experience. It just happens that, and the reason is because we are speed to market. We do start looking into designing from the point of view of manufacturing right at the beginning. Like if we are designing or we were sketching anything, is it manufacturable? So if my engineer takes off, they know exactly what we need to do right from the beginning. So we kind of reduce the design cost for our client and also reduce the time to bring it to market. And that's why, like, I need experienced designers and engineers.
Thank you.
You're
Makes
welcome.
sense. Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Nisha, you mentioned that you work and get patents around the world. We live in a global community now. How important is that?
It depends on the product you have. For example, my medical device that I designed, I know the market really well, and it is basically a device and a system that reduces overdosage and wrong dosage of drugs in ER, which is a very important part. It's the third largest cause of deaths in the world, actually. So when this happens, there are different ways, like filing patent in countries that can manufacture my device is important. But the countries that don't have or don't have manufacturing facility, for example, some countries don't have any manufacturing facilities, but like Asia or Europe or Canada or like America, they do have manufacturing facility. So anywhere you feel that your product can be copied and manufactured in that country, you should protect it in that country. And there's another reason why you should do that is like if you're trying to raise funds for the business, then it shows that you have protected and it adds more value to your business if you want to exit out from the business or even to raise funds. Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, I have a question here. So I do understand that you have been a person who's very passionate about designing as a kid. So what was the path that led you to be an entrepreneur, and what kind of path did you take from the time that you identified that designing was your passion?
Oh, yeah. It was very interesting. I never thought I would end up being an industrial designer or even an architect. I had no idea. No one knows what they're doing when they're kids, right? Like things change based on life or circumstances or whatever. So, but I think I was kind of very blessed to have my siblings who were into arts or, science, or my brother was doing drawing all the biology diagrams, like opening part of a frog or whatever. But it was so beautiful when they did all the design stuff. And growing up, I was taking a lot of design competition, parts and design competition, and I was winning them. And this would be like on the spot painting. Let's just say they throw a theme and you have to make a drawing and paint it, and then you submit it. And there's like only 2 hours or 3 hours window that you have to think about it and make it and paint it and then submit it. So we used to do that in the schools, and it was amazing because I was winning them and it was great. But we kept doing this unknowingly, but I felt like I always had inclination towards drawing and art. And then in my 12th grade, I started making greeting cards, like birthday cards for my friends, that I wanted to personalize it. Actually, even before, for my dad's boss, I would make cards out of leaves. You dry leaves and then you only put the stems and the veins, So I would paste them and do some natural stuff and give it to them, and he would be very proud that, oh wow, I have something I can give to my boss, which was interesting. So we kind of did some personalizing greeting cards, and I started selling it to my friends, even for very small amount, but that, like, look, I'm not giving it to you for free. It took me work, and effort to put it in this. So if you want 5 of them, I'm not going to make it 5 for you and give it to you for free. So I said, think about it when you request me, like, you need 10 cards. No, I can do that. So I kind of sold them. So it was very interesting that, hey, I can actually make money out of this, And then in school, in architecture school, I was, my dad was paying for school, but then I was in the hostel. So hostel cost is expensive. You want to eat something in a restaurant, or extra costs you want to do, right? Like, so we started looking for work, whatever we could do. So I started designing exhibition design. It's like totally different. So I studied architecture. I'll go back a little bit. I studied architecture because I kind of liked it. And I used to design bunk beds when I was a kid, just randomly, when you're arts and painting, you kind of think different stuff and you kind of innovate in a way, right? You never know where it takes you. But then when I was doing this, and I went to architecture, first 2 years first year was very boring, and I'm like, oh wow, I have to read history of architecture. What am I doing? Like, and then mechanical engineering, all the calculation and math and all that stuff. But it's like designing was a part of it, but we were like, I want to do this full time. I don't want to read about engineering and calculation beams and columns. But it was fine. You need to do that in the beginning to understand where is your interest, because sometimes people will go more into engineering, architecture engineering, like building bridges or tunnels versus building buildings. So it was interesting to see which one you really like, And then 3rd, 4th, 5th year, we focused on architecture, different kind of buildings. We get different projects. It was very interesting. And then I designed exhibitions because it was giving good money. In 3 days, you design it, you go at the expo at the center, you put it together. I mean, I had contractors, which was interesting that, I'm half of their age and they're listening to me, which was amazing. So we made them do like, all right, don't cut corners just because like I'm young, because I'm paying you. And that was great money. Like in 1 week, you get good money. So it was really nice to see from the start that whatever you do, you can actually make someone happy and actually also make money out of it. It was actually produced. It was live. It was not sleeping. So I think that was really interesting to me. And for any kids, I would suggest, like, if there is any passion or anything that they're doing and they think that they keep doing it all the time, make it as a business then, because they love doing that, right? So, yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but
perfect. That was an amazing journey. I think that was so perfect and very amazing to see how you grew as a child and to an artist and to a designer and to an innovator today. Thank you so much, Nisha. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Anytime.
That's great. That's awesome.
I think Sid had a
So,
question.
Nisha had a. Oh, okay. Sid, you had a question?
Actually, while she was talking, she answered it. So, oh well.
Okay.
What was that? That was a question or no?
No.
Okay.
So Nisha, you had a question come in over on YouTube. So whilst it's one of these questions about how do you know when you're over designing, meaning that you had said earlier how you were designing a product, ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. Is there a I'm trying to read it and ad lib of this over designing or going too far ahead? How do you stop yourself from doing that?
Well, for my own product, I know how to stop, but for my client's product, they are thinking ahead of time, but I don't know, what is their next step to bring it to market. So I can't dictate that for my client, because sometimes, I mean, these were startups like the electric car charging station. They have great relationship in DC. They know the lobbyist and all those stuff. So at that time, I knew that they are going to present to a lot of other people who were involved in this industry. So we designed making it look amazing in terms of safety, locks, and security of the unit, because it's electricity that's coming like 120 into 40 volts. You don't want people to get shocked while using it. So we considered all that part when we were designing. As far as my own product, or even for my entrepreneur client, like how far we want to go, right? We definitely have to research the market in detail to make sure what is happening now, and also learn the trends and then what to expect in future. A great example is iPhone cases, or anything related to phones. They change so fast. Every 6 months or every couple of months, you will see a new model come up, right? So any product that's designed for that, you have to be very, very careful that you have to get speed to market and only target the one that are the most famous or most sold. Forget about the rest of it. You cannot design it for all the phones that exist in the market. So you have to be very careful who you're targeting, how far you want to go, and you have to, you have to stop in the sense, actually what helps us stop is how much they want to sell this product in the market. How many bells and whistles should we need to add? And what is the price point that target audience will buy it at? What will be the manufacturing cost? So yes, you can add gold and silver or whatever you want to, but is it going to sell? No, you can add 100 features, but how important these 100 features are versus only 10 main features which are actually solving the problem, right? So these are the parameters that you have to identify. What is the most important problem, and just solve that. Once that sells, then you can add more product line with some bells and whistles. But make one product successful, make money out of it, then reinvest.
Yeah, good advice, definitely. Go ahead,
Go
Sid.
ahead.
So I just wanted to ask you so I have this type of nanobot idea. I'll explain it in a second, but after I explain it, can you please tell me how, what steps should I take now after now? So let me explain. This is a type of nanobot that goes in your body that searches for white blood cells. It clamps onto them because it has arms that can clamp, and then the white blood cell is going to take it to an invader, since that's what white blood cells do. It's going to unclamp and then start drilling the invader. So that's technically my idea for something. And I want my idea for a nanobot, and I want you to give me your advice on what to do next.
Okay, so how much research have you done for this idea?
So I have done a lot of research on nanobots. So right now I'm working on emailing a professor that has came up with a type of nanobot that inspired me to create my idea. So I thought that, he could give me a few leads or something.
And what is your goal with this idea?
Well, to help people that are sick. So, and maybe have brain infection, or so that it can help people get healthier. So not so many people in the world are sick. And technically we are in a pandemic here. So it makes sense for the idea.
Right. I understand you want to save life, but what is your goal with this idea? What do you want to do with this once you have it? Once you have this technology, once you have created this nanobot, You want to sell it? You want to start a company from this? Like, what is exactly you want to do with this?
Most probably I wanna like sell versions of the nanobot because of course it has to be like sold for other people to get it. So if that makes sense that I at least get some money out of benefit for it, and will help many people around the world.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's going to help everyone, a lot of people who have these issues, right? So I think the process for you would be, what are the companies that exist in this market? Who are the scientists that's involved? What kind of research they have done? And based on the existing product, not just in this field, but I'm sure there are nanobots that goes into the body to identify some other issues or to dispense some kind of medicine or other things, right? So identify these companies, what they do and how they market themselves. What's the cost of developing these type of product? Who actually funded these products, right? Basically, you want to know if it's an existing product similar to your idea, what have they done from start to end? Where are they? How successful they were? Because learning from existing like competition, let's just say competition or similar products, you learn quite a lot for that particular industry. Every industry is different. Medical industry is very different than normal appliance or consumer industry. There are different FDA approvals that you need. So there's a lot of steps that goes through this type of product. And I think you need to identify who are these competition, what are the steps that they followed, and write them down. This is what they did first, this is what they did second. Typically, you have to do a lot of research for any product. Who's the competition? What are their benefit that you can use for your product? What do they don't have that will benefit them? So it can also be that your idea, you can sell it to that company that can combine it and make it a really nice product. So that's also a option, right? Because the company who's already doing it already have a lot of distribution. They know how to raise money. They also know how to test it, because you need to pilot test these products, right? So I think the best way for you for this particular product is to identify the companies that already are in the market, how much money you need, what kind of people you want to connect with, because without scientists, without testing, without funding, it's not going to go anywhere.
That's true.
Right? You need knowledge, you need connections, and you need money.
Yeah, one thing is that I'm not so sure that there's a mass selling nanobot company out there. So I suppose it'll take some time to find out.
It does. It's not easy. That's why research is your foundation for your innovation.
Yep.
Without foundation, nothing, you cannot build anything. It will fall.
So thank you. I will literally write it down and follow the steps. For me,
Yes.
I think the first step is to send out that letter and then focus on the other things, because
One by one.
Yeah, that'll give me a lot of help in the research process.
Yeah, and make a folder just for that product idea. Just for that product idea, put everything in that, organize everything. Every person you email, write it down, their phone number, everything. It should be in one folder.
Okay,
You're welcome.
thank you.
Very cool. I mean, I was just gonna say, Sid, just call that company, but I mean, that was a lot better answer, Nisha. Jeez, holy smokes.
Well, if you are talking about a serious product, then you have to become very serious.
Well, Nisha, you have some good knowledge. You have a medical product yourself, right?
Yes, yeah. That's the device that I was talking about. So, I mean, I learned quite a lot in the medical field. it's interesting. You want to save life, but if you try to sell it like you want to save life, it doesn't go that far. They, you cannot do it yourself because it involves a lot of money, and to convince investors, you have to show numbers. So you'll have to figure out, like, all right, they put something in the business. What's the return of investment? You'll have to show that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So medical is very interesting, very different than all the other market. In fact, even technology or a startup like a tech company is also very different. So I'm kind of into all three of them now.
Yeah. Sai, do you have another question?
Well, no, I just wanted to know when would be the right time to show the product, because I do not know anything too much about the product. It's nearby, but the overall, whatever I know, I can just, talk a little bit to Nisha and get lead.
Sure. Carmine?
So do you want me to go ahead with that?
So the question was, when should you show the product?
Yes.
Nisha?
Anytime? I mean, like to show the product, like your product, or
Two companies, yeah.
Yeah, my son nearby's project. That was his project.
He wanted to see if you wanted to see that her son's product.
Oh, you want to show your son's product right now?
Or any other time during this conversation. That's fine.
Anytime, it's fine. Whatever you
Hey.
think, Carmine.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So honestly, I do not know to operate this product because it's all his project. So I don't want to mess anything up. So I'll just show, I can guess how this works because I do not know anything about this. And unfortunately, it's not here today. He has a field trip. So this is a product called the Scooty Bubble Blower that he designed, and he learned a bit of an electronics. He meddled with all of this electronics by himself and got some coding help from my husband with respect to programming. And this product, his main idea, so there is some kind of a switch, and I don't want to turn it on because if something happens, he's not going to be happy. So this product, if you turn it on, the wheels would rotate, and then the bubbles would blow. So it's a functional product. And the bubbles would blow. So this bubble blower is attached to this Scooty, which we purchased for him for a fun play, but he started meddling with that and spending hours every day in making something totally different, which we never imagined. So this is all that he had made in the past 1 year. And this is a Scooty bubble blower when you so you just have to turn it on, and someone have to walk behind this, or someone can walk in front of this. Then it'll move towards the person, and it'll start blowing bubbles. So we were talking to him about autistic kids and some of the challenges the autistic kids were facing. So during one such conversation, he got motivated and he wanted to certainly help the autistic kids to calm down. But he did see that autistic kids are facing a big problem with having a hard time calming down. So blowing the bubbles on their face was one thing that really captivated him. And he started brainstorming and, asking back and forth questions and researching about it. And finally thought that having a bubble blower with the Scooty would be a great idea. So we want to know from here, what are the next steps he can do? And he certainly, from Nearby's perspective, he definitely want to make this as a product that can go on the shelf in the market. That's what he wants. And all the more he wants to help these kids. And it's not just for them. This is a product when he kind of finished all those wiring and stuff, when he was showing, and I got so fascinated because the bubbles started blowing on me. And I was very happy, and I was in fact enjoying this product from my end. So that's why I'm not touching it, because it's totally his, and I have no idea what electronics he has done. So I wanted to know from here how we can take it forward, and what are some kind of advice and leads that you could give for nearby.
Quick question is, why is it electronic? Like, how does it work in terms of, because if he's riding the scooter.
No one has to ride the scooter. If you just turn it on. So as I said, there is a kind of a switch here, but I'm not sure which one is, and I don't want to mess it up.
Sure.
There is a switch here. If you just turn it on, this will get activated. And if someone walks here, this is an ultrasonic sensor. That's what he told me. So he told me this is an ultrasonic sensor. So if you start walking here, this would start moving and start forming the bubbles.
How would you walk on a scooter? Like, I mean,
You don't have
if
to
someone is
walk
riding, or?
Now, you know, this is an automatic one. You don't have to walk. You don't have to ride it. If you walk behind the scooter within a 10 feet distance, then this whole system will get activated. All they need to do is just turn on a switch here, and this whole system will get activated, and it will start moving, producing the bubbles.
Okay, so it's not a riding scooter. It's basically
It's just a transportation device for the bubbles.
okay.
Yes.
Got it. Well, I think if you're talking about bringing it to market, we'll have to definitely calculate all the costs involved in this, all the electronics, every component. And ultimately, you have to see if you, your kid, or anyone else wants to buy this, how much you will pay for it.
Okay.
Go back to that first. Like, what will the consumer pay for a product, something like this?
Okay.
And then whatever the cost is, you divide by 4 or 5, and that's the cost that you should be able to make it. And your product, right? So all the electronics, all the sensors and everything, battery, the switch, even the wheels, like all these things should fall into that 1/5 of the cost, 1/4 or 1/5 of the cost. If this current product is more than that, then you have to rethink what else can you reduce, and also the smallest footprint. How small can you make it, right? So that, because in production, you want to make sure everything is compact. The bigger the parts are, the bigger the mold cost will be, and all the other costs, like the tooling cost, right? So you have to keep all that in mind and start calculating backwards.
I see.
And then you design what is this product should do and should have, and how much.
Okay, sounds good. So, and is there any other leads besides the cost factor that we should be looking for at this point of time? I know that he wants to sell this, but if we want to expand the market to other people too, is there something else? Is there anything different, anything else that we need to do with this? Besides that?
Yeah, start with the current need, test it, and then you can expand. You can always expand later. You have to test with the right target market and then convince them first.
Okay, sounds good. And I do see that you have Coach My Idea as a company. Is there a way that you take kids with ideas and kids who want to make it, or is it one step more?
It's not like to take kids' ideas. It's basically, Coach My Idea is everyone go online at their own pace. They learn the whole process. And then, and then we connect with them with the right expert at the right time. So so basically it's for everyone to learn the process at their own pace with a small fraction of cost to go.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So how do we join the Coach My Idea? Is there a way for anyone to join it? Or how
it's free to join. So you go coachmyidea.com, you put your information, and you're good.
Oh, perfect. That's a great one. Okay. Thank you so much, Nisha. Thanks a lot for that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Nisha, real quick question we got, is that something that you see, and it's not in a bad way or good way, what I'm saying is that people are out of sequence or they're not sure the next steps?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that something that holds people back?
Oh yeah, a lot. I've seen so many people making mistakes, and that was the reason why I created Coach My Idea, because I saw so many people spending money running for filing a patent, and then their idea is not even validated. So it's just like, why did you even patent it? You should have come to us before, right? Or they run with some companies that they false promise them that, oh, don't worry, this is going to be great. And they don't really care. They will just go and file the patent just to get a patent, but it's worthless if you cannot sell it or make money out of it. Or if there is no need for it, then there's no point to put even $1 into that idea. So yes, they don't know the steps. And I can say, like, even in my Coach My Idea, because this was a software company, subscription-based company, they have a different process. And so I needed to learn that process too, because I made mistakes too. So I will admit, everyone makes mistakes. For all this throughout my journey, like from being a kid and starting a business till if I'm starting a new business, like let's just say medical product that I have or Coach My Idea, they're totally two different industries, medical industry and then online tech industry. So we need to learn the process from the people who have done it like 10 times in that industry. Otherwise, you will waste a lot of money and a lot of time. And yes, of course, if you're learning from those mistakes, it's great. But if it's costing you a lot of money, then it's not a good idea.
Yeah, if you have those resources to be able to recover.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And that's why there's a lot of information out there online. It's just kind of clearing through it, finding the right information. And yeah, I was super happy when you started the Coach My Idea program, because we kind of believe in the same processes to really be able to follow and be able to get in the right sequence.
Absolutely. Some people say like, oh, we have just an idea, we filed it, can we sell it? No one can buy it if you don't have a working prototype. Basically, people have to prove it to themselves first and then present it to others that, yes, I am fully confident in what I did and it works great. It costs less. All these things are important to convince someone, right? Like you cannot sell anything to anyone, which is like you cannot use it.
Yeah, 100%. Let me see if there's any more questions here on YouTube. Anybody have any questions here online? Sid, I know you always have some questions. Maribel, I know we had somebody else join. Rohan, I see he joined in. See if he had any questions.
Nisha, real quickly, I of all the steps you talked about, which is the one that is the most difficult, not for you, an expert, but for the average, innovator? Which is the most difficult for them?
They don't know the process. That's the hardest part. They don't know the process, and they definitely need someone like a mentor to guide them, because every step can be difficult. Manufacturing can be difficult if they didn't do the right way of designing, and if someone else designed it who doesn't know manufacturing, then it doesn't go to the next level. So every step is important and can be difficult for a young entrepreneur. So it's always good to have a guidance from someone who has done it several times and proven it, that they know this market. Life gets so easy once you know someone who's actually in the industry and has done it several times. You will save so much time and headache and anxiety.
Yeah, Jake. Yeah, I think one of the as Nisha mentioned, one of the things is knowing what you don't know and being okay with that. The unknowns of the unknowns. Sai, you have a question?
Yeah, just one more quick question. So the coach my idea, so you kind of lead the kids to knowing what are the different steps in the whole process, right from research all the way till patenting. You take them through the steps and you connect them with anybody with their idea in their brain or maybe a prototype if they have. Do you connect them with an industry expert who might be able to say whether this is really workable or not?
Well, so Coach My Idea, I mean, it's not typically for school kids, it's for more for entrepreneurs, startups, and manufacturers. But even kids can learn. So what happens is once you sign up, you'll have these modules. They are sequenced in a way that we want the recommended sequence that people should follow those modules step by step. But if they want to skip, that's up to them. But this is our suggested sequence that they should follow. So the first module, which is free, people can go ahead and actually do it on their own, is probably not catered to kids because these are the questions that are asked about, like, what do you want to do with this idea? Is it something that will change your profession or a business or lifestyle? Who are you doing it for? So, I mean, kids can definitely try it from after school. It will give them an idea of the things that they have to consider when they're actually working on something. It's life decisions that they're making based on one product idea. If they are 100% serious, this program is specifically for serious entrepreneurs who really want to do it in the right way. So each module will have an expert who's actually created this module. So you can always consult that expert. You can schedule a consultation because every expert, they will have their own rates. And they can have a consultation with them, get all your questions answered. So at every step, you can actually get educated for that step and then move forward. So you know even who to hire, what kind of people you need to hire, what kind of questions you need to ask them. All these things are step by step.
Okay, I see. I kind of get what you mean. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
But you can definitely give it a try. And
sure.
It'll be good feedback for me. Like, does it work for even kids?
Yeah, no, the biggest thing we want definitely for Nearby at this point, by looking at what he's doing and because he has close to more than 500 designs that he had created in the last during the pandemic school shutdown period. So he went to the point of thinking things from a very different perspective, and so I'm trying to solve different problems, whatever he sees around. But our thing is that what is the channel to get a mentor for him so that he is taken in the right way to lead him in the right direction. So that's what we're actually looking for.
Yeah. How old is your kid?
He is 7 years and 3 months.
Oh, this is way too young. So
good. He's a young kid. Yes, he's a young one.
That's nice. So yeah, you can keep innovating. I know there's one kid and the people I know, her son he's also like your son. He's always coming up with ideas. So I told him, like, take a small notebook, start putting your ideas, do all the research for that idea, and see what is the percentage that you really want to move forward with this. And then take 10 out of 10, pick only 2, and then only 1 you move forward.
That's amazing. Yeah. I will let him.
Yeah. Because otherwise you will go everywhere and then you cannot focus and you will not be serious about anything.
True. I totally agree. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, very good. Any other questions we have? Before we hang up, I know, Jake, you got to run. Why don't you just give us a quick rundown of the gift opportunity that's coming up?
Well, the program is called the Global Innovation Field Trip. It's a platform for students to present their innovations, whatever they may have created and done. Besides inventions, it could just be some innovation. It could be a new type of dance or song or whatever you're doing. but it's just applied creativity, doing something. We run the program 4 times a year in October, January, April, and July. And if you Google Global Innovation Field Trip, you can see the platform. It's free for students to, present what they're doing. And it's a great opportunity to connect and to show the world what you've done.
Awesome. Yeah. It is a great program, no doubt about it. Thank you so much for doing that stuff, Jake.
And one question, one more.
Yeah, go ahead, Sid.
I just have to say, Nisha, am I saying that correctly? That you should attend a gift, and it's really fun, and I'm sure you're really gonna stun the crowd with your innovation if you attend it. I hope you join it.
Thank you so much, Sid. I will definitely try. I will ask Jake when is it, and then I will definitely try to be there. Thank you.
I would like to comment that we did not pay Sid to say that.
Yeah, Nisha, we'll get you the information on the gift program coming up. I'll have Julie send it over to you, or Jake will send it over. But yeah, you'd be awesome. Always looking for people like yourself to help out. Rohan, you have a question?
I just wanted to ask, is it October 15th to 16th, just to clarify, right?
Yes, Rohan. And I want to say that we didn't pay Rohan for correcting my mistake. So thank you, Rohan.
Right. It was a pleasure to be with you, every one of you. I'm amazed. Like, I'm really impressed with all the kids. It reminds me with my childhood, my dreams. It's really nice.
Well, Nisha, from all of us, we truly appreciate you jumping on with us today, giving us this information, and hope to see you at the next Global Innovation Field Trip. And if anyone has any questions, so follow up, please send them on over to Julie or Jake, and we'll make sure we get them over to Nisha to follow up. So for myself, Carmen Danisco, for UIA TV, and for all of us, thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time. You all take care.
Thank you. Bye.